Hi, guys. All right. As promised, I said I would talk about honoring the space next to you. So today I'm talking about who you want at your side. It's very important. Okay? A lot of times what happens is we place value outside of ourselves and not correctly, right? And so let's make a few tweaks, a few adjustments, and let's take a moment, okay? Let's take a moment to consider that the space next to us is valuable. Let's take a moment to consider that you guys are playing in an illusion and you want someone to play in your starring role, right? This is the starring role that belongs in the movie with you. Right? This is the person that gets to be at your side in the greatest story of your life, the one you're making right now. This is an important role. This can't just go to anybody. This cannot just go to anybody. No, it's a valuable spot. And you have to honor it. You have to honor it. You have to care who's sitting next to you. You have to think about the energy, right? Is this energy repelling? Is this energy giving me life? Is this energy speaking life into me? Or is this energy mimicking death? Is this energy, every time it's next to me, does it complain? Does it have issues? Does it know how to speak to me? Or does it know how to lift me up? Because here's the bottom line. Choose life. Choose life, not death. Okay? If you want to wonder why someone isn't choosing you, if you're speaking death, it's a repelling energy. Choose life. Consider the person next to you. Consider how important it is. Value yourself enough to care who stands next to you. Do not close off your options. Do not shut things off. I don't care how beautiful the package looks. If it starts to abuse you, it don't belong. If it starts to hurt you, it doesn't belong. If it cheats you, if it doesn't value your presence, if it doesn't want, doesn't belong. Okay? That doesn't mean you're giving up on your person. You're giving up on the version that you don't want. So work with the space. Create a space for them to come in. Create an empty space, not the space with your old story. See, the funny thing about relationships, you guys, people change instantly as soon as you do with your self-concept. But if you're going to be staring at your old self-concept at the precipice of the point where it can change, and you still uphold the old one without giving the new one a chance to take over, then are you really surprised that you have a yo-yo-like situation going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on the yo-yo you go? Seriously? You guys are creating it. You're creating it. You have to work with this space intentionally, and you have to care. You can't let them make you a doormat. You can't let them not appreciate you. You walk away from that. That's not the version you want. It's counterintuitive, I know. I know. Oh my God. You're resistant to the space. You're resistant to the loneliness. You're afraid of being alone. Whatever the case may be. Okay? If you focus on their absence without using it to your advantage, you're creating more absence. You are the reason you are not together. It has nothing to do with them. They can only be as you are being. And this is a tough lesson to learn. Okay? Sometimes I get in arguments with my special person. I get in arguments. I'm like, why do you talk to me this way? Right? Okay, I do that, but then I'm the one talking this way to them. It's a humbling moment to be like, oh, you mean my right now created my past and my future simultaneously? Yes. That's a tough thing to learn. There's an acceptance that needs to go on here. All right? So the counterintuitive part of embracing the space next to you and creating a void for them to enter means that your old construct is no longer valid. You no longer want that. So you want to create the space that lets go. So if you have things like, you have memories you can't forgive and you can't let go. I'm speaking really loudly to you guys. If you have things that you cannot let go, you cannot forgive, then you're the obstacle. Because you're going to continue to uphold your pain and you're going to see through a filter of pain. Not helpful. Is it? Okay? You got to let all that go. If you're going to start a relationship, you have to have a clean slate. Very much a clean slate. Okay? Here's a few things that is going to happen. When you go to work on this space, you're going to up level. You're going to look at your patterns. You're going to look at all the things that you inherited, right? Like a lot of times you don't realize this, but you inherit these patterns from your parents and you don't even know why you're behaving exactly like they are. My daughter is the greatest example of that. She has no freaking clue that she behaves just like me. So she and I traded places. This is why I keep losing weight and like she's eating coconut. She and I traded places. She just began my karma. So I'm a witness to the fact that I can see that she's walking in my old footsteps and she thinks she's creating a new path. No, baby, we are each other. It's a palma and coco thing, meaning that the palm tree and the fruit of the palm tree are the same exact thing. Right? So, this is true all the time. You are the one that has to make peace with you. Okay? And you have to think about the things that you've accepted. So if you've accepted someone cheating on you, why? What the fuck? Why? Not okay. Not acceptable. If there's a baby in the picture, let them have their kid. Go let them be parents. Get the fuck out of there. I'm so sorry, but I'm so sick of women putting up with bullshit. This is a tough love kind of talk from you guys right now. It makes me so angry to think that people enjoy being doormats and think that that is normal. No, that is not self-love. It's not self-love. I don't mean to get excited about it, but this in no way is self-love. So what happens when you deprive yourself of the love that you deserve? The other person has to show up exactly as you are. And why should they give you the love that you deserve? You're not giving it to yourself. You're not giving it to yourself. And you can't question the construct. Let me explain. Regardless of who I date, I have one cardinal rule. Regardless. My mom had the idea that every man cheats, so I should just accept it. As a child, I said no. Not freaking ever. Not after you raised me to become this woman would I ever accept that. What kind of limiting belief is that bullshit? Okay? And to date, I've only had one guy, but I dumped him right away. So I stuck true to my word. It was not acceptable. Peace out. Only happened to me once. And I was in my 20s. It's like supposed to happen in your 20s. Okay. Once. Now, as a result, I attract people who have had their heart broken by cheaters. As a result, those cheaters would never cheat on me because they know what it feels like to be cheated on. So my self-concept automatically brings me this and protects me from cheaters. I don't have to put forth an effort. Everything comes to me, remember? That's the design. I don't question the design. But what I can do is serve as the best example of someone, like say for example, someone's been cheated on and really hurt or whatever, right? I can be the thing that they're so grateful to have. that never let go. I can complete the picture. But I'm standing by my hard and fast rule, no cheating. It's not acceptable. Not acceptable in my book. I've never dealt with some other woman. I have never received pictures or anything like that, or look, my man is with your man. Do you know what I would have done with those texts? Let me explain what I would have done with those texts. I would have saved them. I would have packed all of their shit, or I would have packed mine. And I'd walk out and I'd leave them there. Then I would text the young woman and I would say, baby girl, thank you for letting me know. You can have him, because my greatest revenge is that you chose that. Go take him. I don't want that. I don't want that. And if a man is willing to cross that line, or a woman would be willing to cross that line and know that that is what it costs, that's their loss, not mine, ever. Because what happens is I then create a void, I get rid of my pattern that doesn't belong, and I make room for someone who does love me, from someone who does deserve me, someone who does uphold the pattern that I've requested, someone who is worthy, so that then you can get on your knees and you can thank God for your husband or wife, the one that deserves you. But we sure as hell don't put up with no. Nope. No. But see, that's my self-concept. Everybody's self-concept can be different. I'm just explaining why I'm never cheated on. And how my own self-concept brings somebody to the table. I belong to something called the Come Correct crew. And every woman should belong to it. Every woman should belong to it. Regardless if you're whatever your sexual preferences are, I don't give a fuck what gender you date, you still need to belong to the Come Correct crew. You still need to know what it is that you want. You still need to know what kind of ideal partner it is. I really suggest if you write down the list of everything you want, and if you can appreciate the people that showed you what you don't want, and give yourself the exact opposite and make that list, drop the 0 and make room for the hero. Just do it. Work with the space. Allow someone to earn this space next to you. I'll tell you why. Because masculine energy, regardless of gender, needs to strive to get you. It is important. It gives them something. This engages their natural hunter instincts. We're not trying to be difficult. We're not trying to be anything. We're simply keeping our options open and seeing who is most worthy of this space. But do not hold on to the things that cause you pain and think that that is normal. It is not. It is not. Take a moment to redirect. Take a moment to reflect. What are you accepting that shouldn't be? But I promise you, when you stand your ground, that man or that woman, whoever this is that wants to be in your life, is going to strive to be in your life. Is going to strive to appreciate you. But you have to appreciate this spot. You have to give them something to work for, to earn. Don't just give it away. That's what everybody else does. And do you know how they feel? Used, abused, cheated on, neglected, never chosen, taken for granted? Sound familiar? These are all consequences of this same choice, not valuing the space and not allowing someone to earn it. It has to be earned. It has to be earned. You have to care so much. I saw a quote. I don't want to have any more children. I really don't. No. Grandma now, I'm beyond that age, right? I'm really old, you guys, okay? But if I was at childbearing age, and this is really important, if I'm at childbearing age and I want children, is the man next to you or the person next to you worthy of making an exact duplicate? Because them autopilot genes run deep, baby. And if you have a cheating husband right now, you're going to raise a cheating child that you're going to have to correct. You want that? You have to honor you. And let the chips fall where they may. Because when you become the source, remember, it's the relationship with yourself. When you become the source of that, then everyone changes. And then you decide if that loser has become the hero or if he needs to remain out because you leveled up so much that your old type is no longer your type anymore. Don't feel bad. Let me explain something. Don't ever feel bad, okay? If someone makes you feel bad enough that you have to walk away and then you take time to worry about their feelings, no. If someone has to do that, then baby love, you need to be the consequence of that action. Stop being on the receiving end of the other consequence. It's your turn to be the consequence. It's your turn to say, wow, it's your loss then. It's your turn to stand up for you. It's your turn to stand up and choose you so that you can be chosen. Most people look at me funny when I'm like, choose you. And they're like, what? Right? They look at me so funny and I have to be like, how are you confused over what I'm saying? Like, how do you not know how to choose you? What makes you happy? Have you thought about that? Because if you're really busy trying to make them happy, let me explain something to you. It's out of balance unless you are matching their efforts. You have to match efforts. This way, you reward good behavior and the stuff that doesn't work goes away. Reward good behavior and the stuff that doesn't work goes away. But to be chosen to match rather than resent. Oh my God, I do all the work and then get taken for granted. Don't nobody want to hear that? Don't nobody want to hear you advocate for being a doormat? Especially not your other half. Because if you're not already appreciated, how is giving more of what is not appreciated working for you? Is it? No, it's not. It's not. It can never be. But if you change, if you think, wait, let me start honoring me. Let me give myself value. Let me care about me. Let me take charge of my life. Wow, let me screen the actor that gets to sit next to me and let's co-create together. Let me make sure that this person deserves me. Let me find out what's so awesome about me. Because here's the best part. There is no competition when you know who you are, and when you start vibing at that level, no one else is you. And believe me, in your reality, you want to be the source that everyone comes to. You don't want to be one of the people playing the role stuck in the vortex feeling helpless to reality. No, you want to stand still and know that nothing in this world exists without you. Everything is uniquely you. You are the most valuable thing on earth. You are the light in everything in the world. When I say I am the light of the world, I mean I am as in all of you that I am. You and I, we're the same. Everything serves. The design is so flawless, so perfect. It's made in your image. Let us make mankind in our image. It's so important. And if you're looking for the type of love that takes you to the heights, that helps you understand that you are God, it shows you the face of God, all of a sudden you understand the Bible, even though before you used to hate that book and criticize it and be like, that's for stupid fools, it's trying to control me. I used to be that woman. I used to be that woman. But when you love yourself the way you're supposed to, this type of love takes you to heights that you can't even imagine are real. And anybody who has this type of love knows what I'm talking about. And the ones that don't, God is a jealous God, meaning you short yourself because you're the source image. So if you subtract from your image to give to someone else without giving to yourself first, what's a negative plus a positive? It's a subtraction no matter what, right? So here you are, positive energy, but you subtracted from your image, right? Okay, so if it's a great big giant mirror and you've subtracted from your image, why should this appear any other way except from the way that you subtracted from it? Like, it makes sense when you think, when you stop, you slow down and you're like, wait a minute. I'm shorting myself. The relationship is with you. And it's so important to understand this because you are the only one in the way to have anything you want. Right? You're the only one in the way. You're the one not valuing the space next to you, and you're chasing them when they should be chasing you. They should be chasing you. And then, once they've proven worthy, y'all can match efforts left and right. And what is that called? A balanced union. The kind that makes your cheeks glow. You start aging in reverse, and then people look at you and they don't know that you're a grandma. They can't believe it. Yeah. Get that kind of love in your system. Let me tell you what happens on the other side when you choose the wrong kind of love. I'll tell you my aunt's case. My aunt's hair has fallen out. She's put on a ton of weight. She looks old. Old. She's not that much older than me. She's not. Okay? However, the difference between she and I, even if it's, let's say it's 20 years, but she's not that much older than me. And in our family, we don't age, so there's no excuse for her to look old. But what she's done is she's cared for a man that abused me, that tried to, that used to come on to me left and right when I was 12. She's held on to a man that thinks I've forgotten all that, shows up at my house and then hits on my sister-in-law's girlfriend, not knowing that she was gay. Right in my face, knowing he's married to my aunt. And she holds on to that bullshit. Meanwhile, he looks young. Because he can drown the life force out of her. And if that sounds familiar, let me tell you something. That's not love. That's not love. Fear of being afraid, that's not love either. Fear of being afraid is what's stopping you from standing up for yourself. Big mistake. Fear of being alone? How can you be alone if you can't lose yourself? If you're the source of everything and everything in the world is you, then what? By choosing you, what are you doing? You're certainly not upholding the separation. It looks that way because here's the key thing. You're creating a separation. You're working with what appears to be what you don't want. In that time, you get yourself together. You get your mind right. You think about the things that you want. And then you make room for that space. And then the most important thing, if you have a relationship you're trying to improve, clean slate. So that you can see your construct animate the bodies outside. Your construct is everything. Do you think that I would attract people that have been cheated on? That never, how does that happen? That happens because I said no cheaters. It's my concept. My concept animates the bodies outside. I don't go looking for them. They come to me. As women, your strength is right here. As men, your strength is right here. Your job, regardless of gender, is to unify these two things. When you unify these two things, your masculine and your feminine energy, the non-binary code inside you activates your counterpart. It's a non-binary code that is both masculine and feminine. This brings you the love of your life. But your mind and your heart have to be unified because your counterpart is in your heart or in your mind, depending on what you are. Most predominantly after. Because you're either embracing more of your feminine or you're embracing more of your masculine energy. It has nothing to do with gender. I'm talking about energy. So you're going to seek your counterpart for balance. Whether you realize this is what you're doing or not, it doesn't matter. Okay? This is called the yin-yang energy inside of everything. The yin-yang energy inside of everything. You want to understand this is how the universe runs. If I want batteries to work, I line them up, positive and negative. I put two positives next to each other without lining the positive up to the negative. My little battery operated toy of whatever sort I'm talking about ain't gonna work. Okay? Understand the nature of the ones and the zeros. Okay? My quantum vision, my ability to see beyond this 3D realm only occurs because my heart and mind are one. So it allows me to see both the spirit world and the solid world. Most people have this much wealth available to themselves. But because they only live here or here, doesn't matter which one, right? The imbalance then creates distortions in the world. If you can unify these two things, you will be in balance and only attract balanced partners. You are seeking to activate this yin-yang code inside. We all have it. It's the universal design. If the universe is you, it might as well work with the components of the universe and then work and harness that energy to your advantage to bring your love home. But before you accept that love, learn not to be a doormat. Let's just say, Brittany, my heart and throat chakra will always light up. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mama. All right, guys. This is the most important part. If you haven't made a list of all of the qualities you seek, make it now. Do you know how many of my clients are married just because they made that list? The rocks on their hands that are... Okay? Make a list. then the next tip I'm going to tell you, it's what I tell all of my clients, all of them: marry yourself. And maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll hold my own ceremony for myself, and I'll tape it just so you guys can hear me give myself my own vows, but write them and mean them. And if you cry over hearing everything that you want to hear, about damn time. That's your soul saying, "Oh, thank God. Whew. Finally, you're saying all the things we needed to hear." Okay? Because when you do that, when you commit, when you write your own vows, when you ride or die for you, when you advocate for you, you're not seeking marriage from anyone else. You're not. However, those people that are ready to be the type of love that you are seeking, if marriage is what you want, it isn't for everybody, but if marriage is what you want, right? If you want this eternal union that, the kind that all I see lately, all these happy couples been married 30, 40, 50 years, it's crazy. I'm surrounded by them everywhere. It's so cool to see. So if that's what you want, marry yourself first. Please. Ride or die for you. So that when you put that order into the universe, because the mirror is a subconscious programming tool, it might as well be a magic wand. That's where that Snow White magic mirror is coming from. There are clues in there. Truth is stranger than fiction. Okay? When you place that order, your brain doesn't know the difference between what you think is real, or it doesn't know. So to the brain, a mirror is a mirror. Time and space is a mirror. So when you marry yourself this way and you really think about your vows, really take the time to give an F about you and everything you want to hear. And then put on a little dress or a suit and make that commitment. So that anybody that shows up in your reality will want to make that commitment. You've set the tone on the wishing wand. And you can have that. Okay? And it's not about dimming your light. It's not about dimming your desires. Why are you judging your desires? You guys desire this? Don't judge it. Receive it. Remember, in 3D, what you see with your eyes is the exact point in time where what you don't want and what you do want meet. And what's happening is you stand in the middle of that. Light and shadow, and you're standing in the middle. Your job is to walk down the middle without judging either side, so that you can use either one to create what you want. Light or dark doesn't matter. Personally, my best attribute is turning darkness into laughter, is turning pain into something that's good, is letting go, is realizing what I'm saying, so I can walk into the darkest of the darkest dark, not be afraid, but it's because I fell in love with my demons. Yeah. My daddy abandoned me? Cool. No problem. Why? Because I'm such an independent spirit that doesn't seek external validation from men. Thank you, Dad. New way to look at it. Same instance. Yes, I was still abandoned. Cool. No problem. The man actually apologized to me. My dad was like, the only one who can ever say anything about me as a father is that one right there. And he literally apologized and recognized my value. And that to me was a healing moment that I had to appreciate. Nothing changed. He still walked out when I was a kid. But I appreciate it. I fell in love with my demon. Okay? Then my mom's depression. Well, Who knew? It was my depression. I was gonna reach a point where one day my son was gonna die, and it was gonna devastate me, and it was gonna take me out. And so, whose image was made that way? Well, the depression scattered past and future and present. This is all me. So who had to make peace with that depression? I wasn't mad at my mom. I was mad at myself. But I thought I was mad at my mom. That's an ego's game. Please check out my video on ego's plan versus the Holy Spirit. Because your ego's greatest tool is to suck you into your drama and trigger you. But you got to fall in love with your demons so that they cannot trigger you. Right? So here's the result. Both my parents were kind of sort of there and sort of not, and I kind of raised myself, kind of sort of, but my mom did the best, and she actually did an awesome job, because here's the thing, everything that she taught me I can now teach and make a living off of it. So was it bad, or did it serve a purpose? Everything serves a purpose. I'm not detracting from my experience. I'm loving my experience. Nothing changed. Everything still remained the same. What changed is my attitude about it. So now I've added more love to the experiences that I have. I'm not detracting with hatred towards them. I've fallen in love with my demons. Okay? Remember, everyone outside of you is just different patterns of all of your experiences put together, and that's it. And your job is to identify yourself within all of that. So if you have added value to those experiences and you're no longer hating, you're no longer angry, you no longer are upset, you've fully freed yourself, nothing has changed about the experience but how you view it and how much you value it has. What happens to the outer reflection? I'll tell you. None of these experiences outside can trigger you. You're going to see the best of everything. And even though, let's say, you're going to see your mom and your dad and your husband, for example, right? You're going to value those experiences. What happens? A harmonious union that doesn't argue, that doesn't go crazy, that isn't triggered, that doesn't, right? How can you be triggered if you're in love with yourself? The self is made only of experiences in the moment, and that is all that you are. And if you don't value that self that is making the illusion of every human being, you can't appreciate what you're seeing. Work on this. It's called mirror consciousness, and when you understand it, it changes your life. So when you fall in love with that, when you've fallen in love with your demons, when you are totally cool, it's not about healing, it's about being okay. I appreciate it. These points of contention can't be a big deal. Now you can attract people that are not going to irritate your demons because you don't have any more demons to irritate. Make sense? Relationship is always with you, not with anybody else. Ever. I know what it looks like. But you really, really need to think about these things because you're the one giving them to yourself, and then the 3D illusion shows up to prove what you've done. But if it's out of balance, or if you accepted less than you deserve, or you deprive yourself of the love that you deserve, don't get angry at the reflection for not showing up as you want. It can't. No matter how bad it wants to, it can't. It's running on autopilot. You are the only truth inside of your illusion. Everything else runs on autopilot to show you what you are inside. It is your job to stop finding flaws and start adding value where you once perceived a problem. Once you do that, it goes out of your box, because I want to call this the ring of fear. And this ring of fear is going to stand in the way of you seeing that you're the light of the world. It's going to look as if there's people outside of you. If you can eliminate this ring of fear, you're going to notice a totally different world. This ring of fear represents all the things that you don't like, don't appreciate, don't wish to experience, your pain, your wounds, or whatever. Okay? It's very much a part of you. Okay? Being a light worker, a light warrior isn't all rainbows and butterflies. No, it's not. It's loving your demons too. That's a full self-love. But when you do that, the same things that you thought were painful, someone else is going to see your beauty, your strength, the power to overcome, how amazing you are. They're going to value that. They're going to look at you and be like, you are the most amazing person. Why? Because that's how you feel about yourself. You work on that. If you do that, everyone comes. And then you have your pick of the litter, which is kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And by pick of the litter, I'll say this. It doesn't matter which body you choose. It doesn't matter at all. I know you think it matters. But I've explained all bodies are illusions, so no, it does not matter which body you choose. What matters is that you recognize the energy inside to be the best version of yourself that you wish to embrace and have a relationship with. So you become that so that you can experience it. That's what matters. And then all the bodies outside of you show up as that. If you have a specific person in mind, then there's one little tweak to that. It's one little tweak. You work on seeing that person inside every human being sitting next to you. Because now you're activating the let us make mankind in our image word. It's always true. So if you choose that and you use 3D as confirmation for that, you will be slowly but surely convincing your brain that you are together using the 3D components. And if you focus, hyper-focus on what's inside and not what's on the outside, but seeing through what's on the outside, and you use that, what happens? Since your brain is creating the entire universe, you create the force that brings that person to you. And by force, you guys know what I'm talking about. When you get knocked off your feet because someone just... you recognize yourself and you feel drawn to that force. Well, it's time you reverse engineer that and magnify it so that you can be on the receiving end of people that are striving to be with you. It is in the imbalanced order if you are striving to be with someone who doesn't want to be with you or who doesn't appear to want to be with you, because what's happening is you're facing the wrong direction. Notice I always go like this, right? If you do this, you're facing the wrong direction. You're facing the shadow. So if we do that, that's cool, except remember that this is the side of the things that I don't want. So all the versions of me I don't want exist right here. And I can play in this space all day, but don't you think I'm facing the wrong way? So now I get what happens to me in 3D. I live in the poverty of not understanding the design. So now what's going to happen is I'm only going to attract a string of things that I don't want. Now, why would we do that to ourselves? Very simple, to figure out what we do want. So this isn't a let me beat you up for facing the wrong way. This is, oh, I needed to know what not to have, what not to want, to know what I do want. So, but don't hold on to it like it's normal, because it's not. It's not. And for some of us, this is easier said than done. Some of us, we have generations upon generations of women who have behaved a certain way. And if we have issues with mom or dad, then we're destined to follow in their footsteps, whether we like it or not, until we turn off autopilot. So it's important. It's easier said than done. Okay? It's like, I don't know, my dad was an alcoholic, so then I attract alcoholics into my life. You know, that's perfectly normal because I came here to fix it, but understand that that's how the design works. But if you flip it and you start facing towards the things that you do want, and you start speaking life, and you start choosing you away from the things that you don't want because you're choosing you, and although it looks like you're not choosing them, good. Because what happens to them? They end up over here where they're the version you do want. And then you decide whether to let them back in or whether you've upgraded so much that they're no longer your type and you make room for who is. The bodies themselves, 100% illusion, I promise you. Illusions, 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 illusions. Infinite illusions of you. You're simply choosing which experience to enjoy the most. But learn to speak life over your relationship so that you can have life. Space next to you is valuable. Treat it accordingly. Yeah? All right, you guys. I love you. And yeah, I think I might think about my vows and I might write them to myself. Anybody else would like to join me on the experiment? Have at it. So far, the people that have done it are all married, happy. So don't sleep on this. It's a great biohack. Love you guys. Bye-bye.